I want to find something of my own. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, because I feel like people's taste is so different. And, like, I think the thing that I've realized as I've grown older and matured is that I'm not reading to, I don't know, participate in a dialogue. Like, I'm not reading big girl books. Like, I want to read, I want to read like some cozy fantasy.
oh my God, cute.
You know, I want to read some romance novels, and then I'll sprinkle in like, you know, some,
Yeah, I feel like
present day. But I'm just trying to, you know, chill and escape.
no, and that makes sense. I feel like it's interesting. I feel like people gravitate towards different genres, and it's like that says so much about them as a person, even or like what they want to be doing with this experience.
Yeah.
Like I like reading scary books because I feel like I'm getting
And
scared.
I can't.
Yeah.
I know. I refuse. I refuse. There was this one book that I read. It was called the Southern Housewives like Guide to Killing Vampires.
Oh
It
my
was
God.
by
That didn't mean.
Gladys. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Got like maybe 30% through the book, and I was like, "We're done."
Yeah.
I'm just like, my heartbeat got a little too fast, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Absolutely not." See, and I
love it.
I'm not going to be trapped in a book club to do that. Absolutely
that would be
not.
awful. I feel like a horror book club would be cool for the people that enjoyed it, but for people who didn't, that would be like mean. Like that would be like torture.
I was like, we're not doing this. So
It's interesting though, because it's again like why I was attracted to that program was just because I was like, oh, like I can bring my own, like some stuff I was already working on that I wanted to like keep working through, and even discussing it with the people around you. Because I think you had one question that was like, do you relate to the character like in whatever book you're reading and why? And like listening to everybody's like reasons for like choosing the book that they chose and like why it's identifying with them at that moment was like so intimate.
yeah.
It was like I was like I did not realize this would be very intimate.
I know, and I think that's part of like, I don't know, the space of Julia Social Club that like kind of like helped us lean into that. Maybe it's just like the lack of overhead lighting, but
It was still cute.
Yeah.
I love that. I hate overhead lighting. So.
I mean, I hate it too. You should see my house. It's just kind of like this, where it's just like lamps everywhere.
Well, it's just like inviting a cozy environment for people to know that like this is a space for you to be comfortable. Like
Exactly. Yeah. So that's my baby.
I love it. I'm very about it. Yeah, I guess like are there anything that you want to touch on specifically about the program that you're like excited about or
I mean, yeah, pull through. We're trying to figure out what it looks like in the future. My dream is to kind of partner with different bars in like Camberville and possibly different like cafes if we want to do something during the weekend. And maybe it's just like kind of doing like reading flash mobs, you know?
Oh, that would be
just
so
like
cool.
pulling up and like us occupying that space together.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not a flash mob, it's like takeovers. I don't know what the
Yeah, like
term
everybody
is.
in here is gonna be reading a book in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That would be so cool to witness.
So yeah, I don't know. I gotta figure it out.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, no, I think it's a great idea. Like I'm
Yeah.
excited to see where it goes.
But yeah, I'm excited about this like new. I'm forcing myself and choosing to see this as an opportunity for like growth and like development instead of you know, kind of a setback. But also like during the summer, like we're usually out in a park, and that's always been
Oh,
so
wow,
nice.
that's-
Yeah.
yeah.
I
What
mean,
park?
we usually do it at Danahy Park. Like we've had like a
Oh my God, that's so cool.
like
I
a
would-
live celloist come and play live music for us.
Wait, I love that.
Yeah,
That's so special.
The summertime hangs are like really good, so that's gonna be consistent. Like that, we're not gonna get rid of that.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Yeah, so I guess like just finding cool places to hang when the weather's like this.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I meant to ask you too, like, what have you noticed with the community that you've built so far? Like, obviously you notice people are regulars or you've even become familiar with them, but has it kind of changed from the start of it, like at least when it comes to like attendance or even like the kind of crowd that it brings?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think obviously, like, people come and go, but I think the thing that I've noticed is, like, people genuinely wanting that moment of connection.
Yeah.
I think I'm always surprised when somebody, like, comes up to me at the end of, like, a literary launch and be like, thank you so much, I really needed this.
Yeah.
I'm like, I kind of threw this one in today, but I'm so happy you enjoyed it. And I'm shocked every single time, you know? And so I don't think I've paid attention close enough to like notice a like change, but I think every single time I've noticed that there's always a moment where I like step back and I'm like, oh, this actually like means something, which is like why it's hard to actually give this up, because it's like doing something for the community.
Yeah, and I feel like that's when you know that like we should also talk about how you actually work as a community engagement specialist for the Museum of Science. So cool.
Yeah.
But I feel like definitely you can tell when you're onto something when you're like, I don't like, how do we keep it going and like keep it like alive? It's
exactly.
It is. I mean, even with us, sometimes we have hiccups, so I get it.
And I think that's part of like the, I don't know, the strategic brain that I have of like, oh, I do this during the day. So like, I have some thoughts around how to curate it during weeks. Like, do have that like groundedness, right?
Yeah.
And people literally say like when they, walk out of, their institution of faith, like I feel lighter, I feel better, I was able to take care of me and also connect to other people in my community, right? And so I think part of the other thing, or the reason why I was like, like let's continue doing Literary Lounge and let me like help Jenny with this, was because I felt like, especially coming out of the pandemic, people needed spaces like that, right?
Yeah, just like kind of like, hey, like this is a place you can go. And like sometimes you don't know, people are like, I haven't actually hung out or talked to somebody in like a couple of days. Like I need to get out of the house. Especially like fully remote workers or like people that aren't in an environment that like is always social. Like I feel like me and you are probably in front of people all the time.
I was on the entire day and I was like, I'm so excited to just chill.
Yeah, well, that was another thing that I wanted to talk to you about, because at one point you said like I built this space for introverts like me, and I was like, okay, well I feel like I identify as an extrovert, but I also like want to be an introvert. I just like don't know where to go to do it. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, I have roommates, I have a job.
You need the time to like the dedicated time to like chill, like turn that temperature down.
Yes.
I need that dedicated time to turn it just a little up.
That's so I'm dead.
And I think that's the beauty of Literary Lounge, is that like there's that time where you're forced to actually talk to someone that you did not come there with, and kind of like be a little like vulnerable with them, but also it's the time to be like, please stop talking. And I think, I mean, I'm married to an extrovert, and so like I think the please stop talking moment is really important.
I'm dead. No, I feel like my partners are always introverts. I'm like, thank you. Like,
turn that down.
I'm like, tell me to stop. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I had a good time, and I also felt like everybody had such like a different kind of energy, but when you have that alone time to read and then you could talk about it, it was very calming. But I definitely enjoyed it. It was I don't know, I just never done, we talked about parallel play. And that idea to me is like so like soothing, to be like, I'm gonna do my thing and you do your thing, and I'm gonna be like just here for it. I feel like we're sharing space, but I don't have to like interact with you. I don't have to hold a long conversation.
And that is the foundation in which I grew up. And I was like, how do I replicate this and make it easier for myself?
Yeah, love it.
And like I've thought about, what does it look like to expand upon the idea of Literary Lounge and not just have it be, could it be a place where we can just like, just like, I don't know, bring the craft that we're working on, or like bring, the poem that we're working on, or something like that.
So like any form of creativity?
Any form of creativity, any form of like literature maybe? I don't know.
That's interesting.
I don't know. Could that like moment of questioning and like having to talk to someone be more of like a workshop?
Yeah. That's so cool.
Maybe it could be like a one-off month or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, I think if there's one thing you were kind of talking about, is there something that I've noticed throughout the years, is that it's actually really hard to figure out what people actually want, because everyone's like, this is great, and I'm like, no, please give me like feedback of like, what are you looking for? And I think I'm getting that people just want time to read, which is,
oh my God, yeah.
part of me is like, no, there must be like extra value to it or whatever. But
well, no, I think there's something to be said for like, I don't know. I felt like specifically for my experience that hearing with the two women who were what they were experiencing, and some of them like chose a book because it was so opposite of how they grew up and what they've ever experienced. So they wanted to like learn more about this character's development because they were like, well, I didn't grow up this way or I didn't think this way. So I just, and then there was like another woman who was like, oh, like I'm relating to this because like I'm going through a really hard time at home right now with like her, I think it was like her family was sick or something and that was what the character was going through. And I was like, it's so funny how some people are like, I want to relate or like I want to be distracted. And I felt like even through that conversation, I learned more about like, I don't know, like the experience of reading in general. Like even, I was like, okay, well, how am I interpreting this? Because I haven't even thought, why did I choose these? I always choose like short stories too. I feel like they have like, Does that say something about me?
No, I and I've never
Love it.
like found my like niche into the genre. Yeah.
I have like a couple authors that I'm like, any short story book you're gonna put out, I'm gonna kill them like a day. But
Yeah, nice.
that's usually just because like it like scratches an itch, I guess. I don't know, like, but it's like themes that usually have to do from the point of view of a woman, obviously, because that's my own. But like, just like putting it in like an interesting light, I guess. Whereas like when I heard somebody next to me being like, no, I chose this because I have no idea what the heck this person's experience is and I want to learn. And I was like, okay, like I don't do that enough. Like, I don't know. It was like interesting, I guess. Like I felt like I got a lot out of it. Not just time to read, but when you gave the prompts, like I was able to see inside of the person next to me's like brain, which I like.
Okay. That's good feedback.
Yeah, that is feedback.
So maybe I'm just trying to do too much and just keep it as
No,
it is.
well,
You know?
I mean, like, I think evolving is great for anything, but
yeah. I don't know.
I'm sad to hear about Juliet, though. That's a huge loss.
Yeah.
And they've been around for a while.
They've been around for a while.
I had honestly never been there before I went to this.
What? Okay, then
I don't go out.
You have to come next week and like do one last hurrah.
Oh my god, I would love that for sure. I'm gonna bring my roommate. She actually wrote a book.
Oh great.
Yeah.
Sick. Wait, what did they write?
They wrote a. She's gonna come on here and talk about it actually, but it's kind of like a sci-fi book. It's called When a Soul Walks, and it's. I'll bring it the next time you can take a peek at it. But she's gonna come on and talk about the story. She went to Emerson in the writing program.
Nice.
Yeah, so she published it at like 23. She's like a little superhero lover.
Yeah.
She's so cute. I'm like, put her in my pocket.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna bring her, and which is also something cool that I can be like, hey, I wanted to bring this guy I was talking to. I was like, this is so much fun if we both like to read. It's almost like a fun thing to do with someone that you care about because you're like, hey, like let's just read and hang out, go to a nice, cozy little corner.
Yeah. I'm just really just trying to replicate the things that I do inside, outside, so I can, you know, check that box of I've had my socialization.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah. But no, I'm really sad about Juliet. I mean, the restaurant will still be around, but the social club was really. Have you been? You haven't been to like their like DJ sets and their.
No,
like,
I didn't even. Honestly, I'd seen them because I volunteer at the art studio around the corner, the Boston Free Art Center, and I hadn't like. I think I'd walked by it and been like, oh my god, cute, because they have like a neon sign and like it looked like it was fun in there. But I remember being like, I don't know what that is. And then Matt told me he'd gone there and just like read a book at the bar, but he wasn't doing literary lounge. He just went to.
I mean, but we should all be going to the bar and reading
a book, which I love. But no, when you told me that, I was like, amazing. I would love to be doing that right now. And I was like, oh, I'll have to make a point to go there. And then when I saw you guys like had posted something, I was like, oh, they're at Juliet, and I hadn't been. So like that was even something like I hadn't explored like that area as much. I did used to live outside of Union, but I usually was like I worked on weekends, so it was like I wasn't really going out. Yeah.
But yeah, okay, we'll get you in.
I know. I'm sad it's gonna be gone, but yeah, I guess I know that you had sent me like some books or something that you were reading about community.
Yeah.
I had wanted to ask you just like what community as an introvert especially means to you, because I'm like,
my boss asked me that for my interview question.
No way. Yeah. I did not mean to do that. Oh my god, I'm dead. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, she was like, interesting. Expand on that. I was like,
you're like, no.
I mean, for me, I think that, and I'm not trying to diss any extroverts.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, but I think
we
that
know.
there are multiple sides to community and like how people approach either the curation of that or like being in community. And for me, I think a lot about the intention behind it, because I think oftentimes when we think, oh, like this person is really well known in the community, or this service is really well known in the community, people automatically think about like who has the most money, who has the most followers, who has the most presence on social media, right? Yeah. But we don't think about, I don't know, like the grandma who makes sandwiches for all the kids on the block, right? And for me, I always think to that level, right? Whether that be for the work that I do, and trying to figure out how do we provide access for people who have never stepped foot in the Museum of Science and don't have like trust in science, and don't see themselves in the field of science or as a scientist, right? And my automatic thought isn't to go to like schools or to go to like science camps or whatever. It's to go to like Boys and Girls Clubs, to go to
that's where all the kids actually are.
Community organizations who have an overlap with the arts. Because, you know, if you're DJing, if you're like, I don't know, writing poetry, you can code. Like, you know, if you're doing social media, like you have a world in AI, right? And so it's kind of, for me, communities put people to like see themselves in things that they may not have overall. And so it's much easier in my mind to approach that as the introvert, because really it's just having like one-on-one conversations with folks, right? And then bringing people in, and like, you know, saying like, yeah, you have a space here, use it as you want. So
like, here are the tools, like I can help you get the tools that you need.
Exactly.
And I feel like even people understanding like what they can do or what they have access to, like it's like harder than you would imagine, you know, like especially that's really interesting. I never thought about it like that.
So I'm not trying to take the party promoter like stance of it, like, you know, who are you, like what's you know, like no. Exactly.
But it is nice though when you think of it like, hey, like I want to make a space that these people feel comfortable, these people feel heard, like they actually get to like experience this thing that A, they might not normally experience, and B, everyone should have accessibility to doing, like
which is why I think sometimes I beat myself up about Literary Lounge, because I'm like, is just having that dedicated time for reading enough in that moment of connection enough? Like, are we getting to those points where people feel seen? Like, are we getting to the points where people feel like grounded, and like, are we creating that like network that I was talking about? And so I don't know. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not, or maybe I'm just like in my head.
No, I think, well, I feel like when you're creating anything, right, like especially if it's like something people are going to experience, it's so easy to critique yourself, because you're like, even we do it sometimes when we work on stuff like this, where we're like, okay, like how are people going to interact with it? Like, is this actually doing anything? Like, do people feel heard? Like, do they want to participate? Or like, can this, and I feel like we've experienced definitely like, even just like people we know who didn't realize they worked in a similar thing or could be like helping each other like achieve what they want to achieve has been really rewarding. So I feel like there's always room for that like connection of like, hey, like you're doing a really cool thing, we're trying to do a really cool thing, like, and we want to like just make this nice for people to enjoy. Like that's like, I don't know, a different thing I think entirely, but yeah. I mean, I immediately, when I went there, I was like, I want to have this girl in nightcap because she's cool and cute. And also, this is just like a fun thing I want to do. And I felt like I'd never even known there was like a place to go do it, I guess. Do you know what? Like, I grew up in libraries. My mom was a librarian, so I was like, okay, like, I would go to the library and kind of like hide away or like grab a bunch of books like and bring them with me and then like chuck the ones I didn't want. Like, I was there like all day. So then like, I kind of was like people watching, and I think that like, that's what it felt like for me. I was like, oh, I feel so at home, like just like reading and doing my thing.
Yeah, that's like literally my dream as a child.
Actually, like I was like, oh, I'm so bored, and I'm like, no, that was lit. Like, I'm happy I had a place to be.
Oh my god, my parents had to like drag me out of the house. I was
really?
Like, I was reading my entire childhood.
Oh my god, I love that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I guess I was doing it in the library, so I was around people just by nature, but like. I don't know, like I was always doing my own thing. So like, I feel like even having, I think also like if you can't afford to travel, if you can't like experience certain things you really want to experience, like I can get a book about where I want to go and like at least like microdose it. Yeah. Be like, okay, I'm like thinking about like going to this country that I really want to go to.
In my mind palace.
Yes, in my mind palace. I've been to Tokyo, like please. Yeah. Like that kind of thing is nice to have. And I feel like getting a space to do that is like, I don't know, it's rewarding. Do you find it different, I guess, working for Literary Lounge versus like the Museum of Science? Like,
Oh, yeah.
obviously,
Yeah.
I know the title's different, but like with the communities you interact with, are you like, oh, like I'm kind of like hanging with people like minded, I guess, and you're kind of trying to educate? I'm sure it's a lot of kids at the Museum of Science as well,
It's
but
a lot of kids, but I also interact with a lot of adults too.
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot more convincing for my day job of like, no, you have a place here.
yeah.
Instead of like for Literary Lounge where people are just like, sign me up.
Yeah.
You know?
The willingness to be like, I want to, well, yeah, I guess. I mean, like, it got immediately, I was like, I want to be a part of a community where I can make time to read. Oh my God.
Yeah. And I think it's just overall in Boston it is easier, but overall I think that, you know, people don't have a lot of faith in science right now, right?
Yeah.
And so, or not a lot. There is a discourse around what is true.
Yeah, and what is,
You know, how do we
crazy.
trust, like, you know, sources, and
and-
who do we trust? And so navigating that through the Museum of Science has been something that I didn't know I was going to fall into.
That's
but
actually
yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure it's a very challenging time. I feel like to work in any kind of like science or humanities or arts, it's just like, okay, like we are of value. Like you can invest in us and like you will want what we can give you. Like,
Yeah.
that's, yeah.
You know, I'm
Enjoying it.
yeah. Being in Boston has been, I think, if I was in anywhere else in the country doing this sort of work, I think it would have been a lot harder.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That's definitely valid.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like grateful to be from here and live here. Like everybody's pretty open-minded.
You're from Boston?
Massachusetts.
Oh, I see.
I have family in Dorchester that I grew up visiting. It was cute.
Nice.
Yeah, my cousin goes to Boston Latin, so like I feel like yeah, I feel a connection, but I definitely think it's interesting versus other parts of the country, just like how people talk about things like this.
Mm-hmm.
Is been fascinating to watch unfold, I guess. Like
You're like, what?
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
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 But I mean, literally on just another thing, I knew when I walked through the door, I'm like, everyone in here like wants to learn. They are doing something actively that like encourages you to like think outside, learn about a different either subject or a person's life, or I don't know. Like cool.
Do you feel, so I grew up in New York City. Do you feel,
Oh my God, wow. Cool.
that has been a constant in like Massachusetts or the Boston area?
Oh my
Because I
God,
think
wow.
I'm trying to, that's,
Ooh, tea
yeah, I
here.
know. Because I think when
do you mean,
when I encounter people, they're like, oh my God, people in Boston are always like on the same or very like-minded. But I feel like also you can walk down the block and be like, meet someone who's like so different, right?
Yeah. I think there's always been a lot of
or
diversity,
willing
whether you
or not willing to like participate in the same discourse or whatever. And I think that like growing up in New York City, I feel like I was constantly exposed to like somebody has this thought, somebody has that thought. We can still exist in the same place, and I
coexist.
feel like that is a little bit more at tension
here.
here.
Okay, yeah. No, I would totally, I see that. I think there's a lot of like old school Boston people that I'm like, okay, like I feel like we are talking about the same thing. You're just saying it in a more aggressive, like abrasive way. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like I feel
okay.
like I have relatives, so I'm like, hey, like, and the way that they talk, I'm like, that doesn't. But I feel like we are on the same side and we're thinking the same things. You're just your delivery is so brutal and like very. It comes off like a little like harsh and like kind of like I don't know, salty, you know, and like.
You think that matters though?
No, I mean,
Like-
I think it's more of like I feel like they don't understand that we're on the same page almost, and they're kind of like, we're on the same page that the way they deliver, how they how they think is a little crusty. I guess if that makes sense. I feel like people here, I think that's been said about New Englanders anyways, but it's just like you come off very mean, but you're actually very nice. Like if you needed somebody to change your tire, they would do it, but they would give you shit the entire time and like be a
Yeah.
huge asshole about it.
Yeah.
Versus other places, I think people like put a bow on it. I don't think people do that here as much. But I think, I don't know. I guess I definitely can see like tension in some areas, but I think everybody here is, everybody has so much access to public program and educations that other parts of the country just don't. So it lends to more open-mindedness because they grew up in a certain way of like being able to be taught these things with. I used to work at Boston Public Schools for a little bit. Yeah, so like, and I remember being like, oh, like this is the best public school system in the country, and being like, this is a lot. But I do think that like I don't know. That's an interesting question. How do you feel about being from New York City? Because I feel like people think of New York as like the actual like, oh my God, if you're gonna make it anywhere, babe. And I feel like Boston's kind of forgotten about in a way. It's like a small town.
Yeah, I mean, like, I definitely, growing up, I definitely fell into that. I was like, Boston? Ew.
Yeah, everybody's like gross, like our little sister we don't care about. Like,
yeah, no, but honestly, though, yeah, it's so true.
Yep.
But I think having been here for 8 years, it's been, nice to, like, have a slower pace. And I think, too, there are a lot of similarities between Boston and New York City.
That when I visited.
Especially in the way that, like, people hold themselves, like, when you were saying, like, oh, like, yeah, we'll help you, but we'll give you shit about it. Like, that's
yeah.
a weird frame of mind. But, yeah, I don't know. I think if I would ever go back, or if,
Oh yeah, do you want to move back? I guess.
I don't think so.
Okay, it's interesting because when I went there, I was like, I could totally live here, because I was like, I don't know, like 24. I was like, this is so much fun.
But everyone says that when they visit New York City.
Because it's so much fun. And then like,
but then they're like, oh, this is like one of the loneliest places in the country.
Yep.
And like, you want to talk about forming like community, like, I think that there's so many opportunities for forming community for younger people in New York City, because it's just so hard. I think people are moving way too quickly, and it's just hard to like find your people there.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Which is honestly the main reason why I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna move back anytime soon, just because like I just like all of the people that I grew up with moved.
That's so
and so
fascinating.
I would have to find a new community, and like maybe I would just do literary lounges all over again. But I don't know.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I grew up kind of like hating it here, and now I'm like, no, I'm proud to be from here.
Yeah.
But I feel like I definitely had a chip on my shoulder for a while. Like I was like, I want to try out a new city or like go somewhere, and then I'm like, there's something to be said for us being like, I don't know, like outspoken about certain things that I'm like, hell yeah, that's cool. But I literary lounges was definitely an experience where I was like, okay, yeah, and I'm happy to be living in like the Camberville, Boston area, just because this space exists, because like we care about our art museums, we care about like our libraries, like we do give funding to schools, like I like that, and I thought that it was cool that we can have an experience like that in this environment, especially today. Like
there are days that I do step back and I'm like, oh, like we are part of an ecosystem that is trying to form community. Like there was a day last week where I like took a bike ride because I needed to go to Gather Here. Have you been there before? It's a
Mass, I can see
like a fabric art store, and so like
I was thinking of Make Amend.
Oh, they're very very similar and relative. No, Gather Here isn't in Min. Because I was like, I need yarn to knit, and so like went inside of, and like learned a couple of things, and just like was in a community of like fiber arts makers, and then I like needed to go to a cafe because like I had a partner with a community member, and I went to like Simon's coffee shop, and then like ha-ha and hee-hee with the baristas there, and then like I needed to go to Cambridge Naturals, and I was like, wait, and at the end of the day I was like, this is like kind of cute. The coziest little life ever. and then I think the next week I had like literary lounges or something like that, and so I was just like, wait, I'm kind of living the life.
Yeah, it's like very nice to have this experience where you're like, oh, I feel like I'm doing the right thing, or like this feels like I'm doing something good for people that I care about.
But it's so rare that, or I feel like it's rare that you can feel like kind of out of body and feel like, oh, like I belong here, like my people are here, and not only that, but like the infrastructure and businesses that are around feel like it's supporting that.
Yes, I do. It is like its own little like corner of the universe where you're like, actually I know everybody here is like nice and open-minded and educated, and
it feels like like a grown-up version of like author, like you know what I mean? It's like every day when you walk in the you know?
Wait, oh my god, I'm dead. That just unlocked like a core memory.
I think about that too often.
Well, it is kind of nice though to know your neighbors. It's something that we value, even like with stuff that we do. Like it is cool to be able to like talk to people around you and be like, what's like, it just makes you feel a little bit more like comfy. And I feel like right now everything, if you were to pay attention to your phone, makes it feel like we're so divided and like you're kind of on your own. And it's nice to be like, okay, I'm not on my own. Like these people actually want to hear about my life and like care about me as a person. And I think that businesses that do well, like, or even programs or initiatives or whatever you're working on that foster those kind of communities are important. So it's cool.
Yeah, on a good day when I'm like not beating myself up about literary lounge, I'm like, I'm doing something. I'm cooking.
Well, I mean, like it's
participating in the ecosystem.
And also like your day job itself is so cool. Like working for the Museum of Science and being in community engagement, that's like such a unique experience. And to be able to do that, and then also this is a lot of work. I know it is a lot of work. So it's definitely interesting to like hear your POV, because I would have thought like definitely like introvert's paradise, but even just walking in as an extrovert, I was like, oh, this gave me like a place to go. So I don't know, I enjoyed it. I valued the experience, and I feel like other people too.
Thank you. It's my community service for life.
Honestly though, like I was like thinking of people I wanted to bring. I was like, I know they're reading this and I know they would come. So
literally come through.
Yeah.
Flow through.
Well, I guess, I mean, we're going to probably end soon, but do you have anything that you wanted to touch on or promote?
December 10th.
December 10th.
Our last literary lounge at Juliet Social Club. We're going to figure out other dates and locations. Sign up for our newsletter, but you can do all of that stuff via social media, literary lounges.
Cute.
On Instagram. But yeah, that's it. We're really just small and humble, and we're just trying to do our best.
Yeah. I'm excited to see where it goes, though, honestly. Like, I could see a trajectory of that being something that, like, I don't know, for me, I was like, ugh, like, I feel like I want to take my roommate, I want to take, like, my best friend, I want to take, like, my cousin.
Yeah, truly, the thing that I'm trying to curate is, like, like, we're in author, and we're in like, do you know those like personified photos of like little animals? Like sometimes you'll like see photos of like a mouse like holding like a cup of tea, and she's like in her little like hobbit hole or whatever.
That's like all my feed.
You know, yeah,
it's like my entire feed. It's
like, so I'm just like trying to do that.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to do that for the community.
Okay, how cute! I love that. Oh my god, I'm dead.
Yeah,
I'm like literally at my phone. I'm like, I feel better. Like I'm like, why?
With the like affirmations, like
an affirmation, or it's like this is like how you're feeling today, or like this is how you're gonna feel tomorrow, and I'm like, okay,
Imagine us as that.
Yeah. No, it was cute. It was a good time. I know you said you had a partner. He's not here with us now, but he does the film recs for
Selman. He's like a film fanatic, and basically when I was like, I really want to lean into like the literacy angle of this, I was like, hey, do you want a platform to just talk about all the movies that you talk to me about?
Oh my god, I love that.
Write it, and I'll send it to everyone.
You're like, and I'm serving this to you on a platter. Like...
Yeah, he was like, you don't have to tell me twice. So basically it's the model that we use is just kind of like who gets to it first. Like, do I have a book recommendation, and do I have a general theme to talk about? And then I'll be like, do you have a movie to match with that? Or he'll be like, I want to talk about this movie and this general theme.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So then you kind of try to like pick a book out of...
Yeah.
What has he given you before they even like, what am I supposed to... Have you ever had a moment where you're like, I have no idea what I would...
I mean, so like this month he chose the movie Drive My Car, and the theme was about like art and creativity. And I was looking at my library and I was like, fuck, what do I recommend? And I ended up recommending The Alphabetical Diaries by Sheila Heti, which is basically this the author took 10 years of her diary entries and then alphabetized the sentences.
Oh my God.
And I was like, art and creativity, it fits.
It's also giving like what overcame you to do such a thing. I'm like thinking about releasing my diary. No.
Yeah.
But also advertising is like a weird form of like, what hyperfixation did you have?
It was weird. It was also just like, really, like, should I be here?
What was it like, Rob, like when you read the entries? Or actually, like I was curious what time period that was.
I don't know, like, between what year and what year. I feel like that's too much information for us to have, too much knowledge for us to have. But for me, it was just like, oh, this does feel really raw. But also just like, you expect an author to kind of shy away from like journal entries and diary entries. And I thought that like to alphabetize it and then also just share how you're feeling was just kind of like a
it's like a
genius.
fuck you. Yeah. That's like a here you have it's alphabetized, bitch. Like everyone read your fucking, that's crazy.
And it's just like her normal thoughts, right? But it ends up being like something poetic. So I don't know. Yeah.
That's fascinating.
So yeah, sign up for a newsletter. You get other recs like that.
I was gonna say, I was like, now I need to get that and put it in my notes before you leave here.
Yeah.
That sounds really cool.
You can borrow the book.
Oh my God, I would love that. I am gonna go with my roommate to your next literary lounge, so I'm excited. Okay. And that will be at Juliet. Okay. When is there, or like you're there just I guess this month and then, okay. And then we'll be keeping you guys posted about where you'll be after that.
Yeah, follow us.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me.
Oh my God, I'm so glad that you could come. Yeah, this was really enjoyable, so thanks.